Hey Chiefs Kingdom, guys, we're less than 200 subscribers away from 5,000. Here's the deal. Had a meeting with my boss this morning, said I got to get to 5K by June 1st or else. We're like 192 away as I'm filming this video. I don't want to find out what or else means. It just sounded pretty serious, so help a brother out. Subscribe to the channel by just hitting that big red subscribe button. Let's get to 5,000 and continue to grow this channel together. And with that being said, let's go ahead and jump on into today's video. Junior here, latest Chiefs rumors and news on today's show. Jeff Chadiha of the NFL Network says that Willie Gay is his #1 rookie that needs to succeed in the 2020 season. Broke down 5 or 6 players and said Willie Gay needs to perform for the Kansas City Chiefs. Obviously, a linebacker was a major need this offseason. They lost Reggie Ragland, Damian Wilson, Anthony Hitchens. Okay, serviceable players. You know, Hitch is one of the better leaders on this Chiefs football team, but linebackers is a position of weakness. I think we can all agree with that. So, you know, Willie Gay is a guy that Kansas City probably needs to at least produce at some level as a rookie. Obviously comes into Kansas City with a little bit of red flags, some character concerns, was suspended, got in a fight with a teammate this past year, but he's got the talent to be the best linebacker on this Chiefs defense. I think he's got a chance to come in and start for sure in 3 linebacker sets. The Chiefs run a lot of nickels, so Wilson and Hitchens will probably be in there in most situations in 2 linebacker sets, but I think you could see by the end of the year Willie Gay Jr. kind of being one of those top 2 linebackers and maybe unseating a player like a Damian Wilson toward the end of the season. Now, you put Hitch and Wilson's side by side, you know, productive players, but they're just not elite per se, you know? And look, you look at any team in the NFL, there's going to be a weakness somewhere. You can't be top-notch at every position. The Chiefs' offense is loaded everywhere. Their front 4 is pretty good. You know, the secondary of the linebacker unit isn't quite as good. You can't pay everyone, so they're banking on Willie Gay to step up as a cheap player on a rookie contract and be a productive player for the Kansas City Chiefs, both now and for the next several years as well. I mentioned he does have some red flags, some character concerns, was suspended due to an academic scandal, got in a fight with a teammate, only played in 5 games last year due to suspension, but he's really good. Ran a 4.46 at the combine. He's got all the tools that you want in a modern off-ball linebacker, and I think he's got a chance to be a good player for the Kansas City Chiefs. But it's asking a lot for any rookie to, you know, have carry a big load in year 1, so we'll see what he's able to do this season. So how about this? I'm going to set the over-under at 50 tackles for Willie Gay in 2020. Type O for over, type U for under. Do you think he's going to have more than 50, less than 50? Go ahead and let me know down in the comments section. It's O for over or U for under. All right, let's talk about the repeating as Super Bowl champions. We've seen some Super Bowl odds. We've talked about them. Now, ESPN's FPI, which is basically, you know, their nerd department putting together a bunch of stuff based on the offseason, based on team rosters, all that kind of stuff, giving the Chiefs the best chance to repeat at a 21% chance, which is 4% higher than the Baltimore Ravens at 17%. We shouldn't be surprised, right? Kansas City brought back 20 of 22 starters. Kendall Fuller, basically the only notable loss in free agency. And all the key players are back. The entire offense is back. Patrick Mahomes is going to be fully healthy this year. Chris Jones is back on the franchise tag. He was banged up last year. I think this team is only going to continue to get better, especially on defense, too, when you factor in a full offseason of Steve Spagnuolo's defense. Another year of learning. Obviously, we haven't had a full offseason program, but you could tell down the stretch last year this Chiefs defense really rounded into form, and I think that will continue on into the 2020 season. Some other teams in the top 5 here. I mentioned Baltimore there at 17%. New Orleans, San Francisco shouldn't be a surprise. Those are probably the top 2 teams in the NFC on paper. Dallas Cowboys, 5%. You always have to put in America's team in there, right? I'm not as high on Dallas. I wouldn't have them at number 5. I would maybe have a team like Green Bay in there instead. But it does seem that those top 4 are the clear-cut teams on paper to represent either the AFC or the NFC in the Super Bowl. So what do you guys think? Will Kansas City repeat as Super Bowl champions? Type Y for yes, type N for no. It's very hard to do. I'll make this the pinned comment of today's video, so go ahead and let me know if the Chiefs will repeat. All right, Patrick Mahomes, if they do repeat, he's going to be a big reason why, because through 2 seasons, he's been on a historic tear. He's going to have well over 100 touchdowns through 3 seasons as a starter. I think he's the favorite to win MVP again. I think he's going to come in this year on a mission to get back to statistical form from 2018, although I've said it time and time again, he was actually better last year. Mahomes in this offense is going to be fantastic. I think they're going to get off to a hot start. Look, the Chiefs have a target on their back. Teams are going to be gunning for them throughout the entire season, especially early on, starting with Houston in Week 1. I think that'll continue throughout the 2020 NFL season. But if Mahomes stays healthy and balls out, his entire receiving core is back. The offensive line, I think, will be better this year if they can stay healthy. And I like the potential of this defense. Now, the Bashaud Breeland potential suspension is a little worrisome. Maybe this Chiefs secondary will struggle a little bit early on. But I just think this offense is so loaded, and that front four is going to be able to get after the quarterback on the defensive side. And you got some guy named Tyrann Mathieu as well. It's a complete team. It's a good football team. And I think there is no reason to believe that the Chiefs won't, be at least in the mix to repeat as Super Bowl champions. I, for one, cannot wait for the 2020 NFL season to get started. Just about 4 months away, assuming we do start on schedule. About 3.5 months away, actually. It'll be here before you know it. All right, guys, I want to tell you about our deal of the day here on the Chiefs Report. It's hats, 25% off. Go to chatsports.com/ChiefsHats. That's chatsports.com/ChiefsHats. Tons of different styles. You got the flat bills, the snapbacks, even got beanies for, cold weather games. And it's a Super Bowl version as well. More hats than just the ones I'm showing you. Tons of these are available. Yes, we got Super Bowl hats as well. Celebrate properly by going to that link, chatsports.com/ChiefsHats. I'll put that link in the comments. I'll put it in the description. Make it easy for you guys. That way you can go ahead and shop today. All right, I want to talk about the young quarterbacks today. Adam, teacher of ESPN.com, did a little write-up on Jordan Tiamo and Shea Patterson, and really how the Chiefs continue to invest in young developmental quarterbacks despite having Patrick Mahomes, which is very smart. Teams don't do this enough. You should draft a quarterback or sign a quarterback every year. You should always be trying to develop quarterbacks. The Patriots have done this forever, where they draft someone in the middle rounds and then they trade them later, because Tom Brady decides to play for 20 years. But you can't ever have enough talent at quarterback. Now, sure, a lot of the guys the Chiefs have brought in haven't developed and panned out into anything, but that doesn't mean you don't start – you just stop bringing in guys. Like, a lot of teams just have 2 quarterbacks on the roster, and that's it. They don't even have a practice squad guy. Like, that's not the way to go. You should always be trying to develop young players like a Shea Patterson, like a Jordan Tiamo, who ironically replaced Patterson as Ole Miss's starter when he transferred to Michigan. So I'll be fascinated to see which of these guys ends up being the third-string quarterback and makes the roster, or is that practice squad guy. You compare them side by side in college. Tiamo more efficient. Shea Patterson, the completion was down, but both were above average college quarterbacks. Neither was great, neither was standout, neither was awesome. I actually think Tiamo at this point in his career is more developed. I thought he played well in the XFL this past spring in a limited season out there. I thought he played pretty well. So I'll be curious to see. They're both mobile. They both have good arms. This type of offense that Kansas City runs fits both of their skill sets. So I think it'll be kind of a fun competition to see how that plays out. How many quarterbacks will the Chiefs carry? Will it be 2 or will it be 3? Let me know. Remember last year they carried 3. Matt Moore and Chad Henne were on the roster on late into the season. I would suspect 3. One of these young guys will make it, but maybe they'll only carry 2 in the end. Andy Reid had to say this about Jordan Tiamo, about what he saw from him in the XFL. Said, look, it gave him an opportunity to get in there and compete and see what he can do. I think it'll be interesting to watch him perform here. So he's excited about his potential. Then also on Shea Patterson, talked to Jim Harbaugh and spoke about Shea as well, saying it's an opportunity for him to make our football team. That's how he has to look at it. Doesn't matter how you get in the door, you're in the door. Now whatever you do with it, you do. You've got to handle yourself the right way and work with it. Jim Harbaugh spoke highly of him, and I trust Jim. So again, a couple of developmental guys. They didn't invest heavily in either. UDFA and Shea Patterson, and they signed Tiamo from the XFL after he went undrafted a couple of years ago out of Ole Miss. But the point is they're bringing guys into camp. They're bringing young players with some talent, and maybe long-term, one of these guys is your long-term backup to Patrick Mahomes. Chad Henne's in his mid-30s. He's not playing forever. Like, you're not going to look up 8 years from now, Chad Henne's going to be Mahomes' backup. Maybe Jordan Tiamo will be, though. Maybe Shea Patterson will be. And if you can find a long-term backup as an undrafted player, that's pretty good in the end. So pick a quarterback. Which one of these guys will stick around? Because one of them is probably going to have to go. Type S for Shea Patterson. Type J for Jordan Tiamo. I'm fascinated to see how it goes. I actually think Tiamo is a little bit better of a fit, but we'll see if Shea Patterson ends up winning that third QB spot in the end. All right, let's talk about a Darrel Williams trade. This isn't actually being reported or anything. Fansided put a few trade ideas together for the Chiefs. I was intrigued by this one. And I've actually thought about an idea like this as well for either Darrel Williams or even Damian Williams. I'd rather keep Damian Williams, but he will get you more in a trade. You've got 5 running backs. You're not carrying 5. So why not maybe trade one of these guys for either a late-round pick, for a depth corner, which is what Fansided is proposing here. Can Kansas City get something for Darrel Williams in a trade? I mean, he is their 4th or 5th running back. I'm not so sure, but when he's played, he's been effective. He had 4 touchdowns last year and over 140 rushing and receiving yards on very limited snaps. That's pretty good production there from your, 3rd, 4th, 5th running back. Maybe he could get you, a depth corner, which is what Fansided proposed here. Duke Shelley, who's basically a nickelback special teams type of player, for Darrel Williams. I would probably do this trade. Would you? Type 1 for yes, type 0 for no. Duke Shelley is a decent player with some versatility. Chicago needs another back next to David Montgomery and Tariq Cohen. Win-win for both sides. I would do this trade. I like Darrel Williams, but where's he going to find snaps here? Where does he fit into the depth chart? Damian Williams and Clyde Edwards-Helaire are clearly your top 2 guys after you take Edwards-Helaire in the first round. I think DeAndre Washington's going to have a bigger role because he's a better pass catcher. They drafted Darwin Thompson last year. Where's Darrel Williams fit? Like, if you can get a player or a pick for him, I think that's the way to go because, if we're being honest, he's probably not going to make your final 53-man roster. He's probably going to be on the practice squad or get cut, and a team probably will pick him up. So why not try and trade him? And if you can get a corner in the process to bring in here, A, because Bashaud Breeland's probably going to miss games due to a suspension, and B, you lost Kendall Fuller. I'm comfortable with Rashad Fenton there, but you need more depth at corner at the very least. And I think Duke Shelley could provide that. And if Darrel Williams is the key to trading for a player like that, I'm all in on that because I don't think he's making the final roster. I'd like for him to prove me wrong. I just think in the end, the Chiefs are loaded at running back in terms of depth, and somebody's the odd man out, and that's probably going to be Darrel Williams.